Hey y'all, this is the Hughes Cast, episode 3, called Pass Along Plants. As a gardener, I love plants. All sorts really, but especially pass along plants. Plants that are given you by a friend or a neighbor, plants that have traveled a ways and have some stories behind them. I live in Jackson, Mississippi, but for 13 years I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I didn't know anybody when I moved there. I mean, no one. My parents and brothers and all my friends were 12 hours away by car. This was in the very early days of social media. And to say I was feeling isolated is true, and yet a serious understatement. Eventually, I would get married, build friendships, and meet some of the nicest people I've ever known. And some of those people were Karen and Tony. They took us in, metaphorically anyway. They were about 10 years older than my parents, and so they served a kind of dual role as both parents and grandparents for us while we were there. The holidays we couldn't afford to go home, we spent at Karen and Tony's. We were invited to all their family celebrations. When their grandkids had birthday parties, or when Tony, who was a musician, would have a local gig, for example, and they threw in their lot with us as well. They would bring us food when we were sick, or they would fundraise for the nonprofit I had founded. We were, and are, in every sense of the word except biology, family. Their daughter Allison is my age, and she too is a gardener. And every spring she would hold a plant swap at her house. You were encouraged to bring anything you had to share, either plants or food, and she would share anything she had extras of, and everyone went home with plants and with their bellies full. And one of the things I went home with were some purple bearded iris. These are the old heirloom Iris germanica, but my grandmother, like all old southern women, would have called them flags. These iris were given to Allison by her grandmother, that's Tony's mother, and they were given to Tony's mother when Tony was a boy by their neighbor who had had them forever. And Tony is now in his 80s, so these flowers can be tracked back at least 100 years. So I got them from Allison and planted them in my crazy cottage garden in Raleigh. And when we sold that house, I dug some, but not all, of the irises up and put them in a paper bag, where they sat for 7 months in a storage unit until we moved into our new house in Mississippi, and then I stuck them in a corner of our front yard where they would get lots of sun, and I could walk by them every day. This summer I divided mine up and gave some to 2 neighbors and a friend in the suburbs. They have, under my watch, went from my house in Raleigh, where some still are, to my house in Mississippi, to 3 other houses here, and the story lives on, as do the plants. I think one of the things I love most about pass along plants is that they go against the very concept of our modern economic story. There is no scarcity. No money changes hands. Their only currency is joy, and rather than becoming scarcer when they're given away, they become not just more plentiful, but safer as well. Because if I hoarded them and kept them all for myself, one bad freeze or a wetter than average year could kill them, and then they're gone. But this way they're spread out in at least 2 different states and many different yards, all increasing the odds of their survival. I think there's a lesson in there for us all. I'm Hugh Hollowell, and I've been your host today. To find out more about what I do, please visit hughhollowell.org. While you're there, drop me a line to let me know what you're up to or what you hope for. Y'all take care of each other, okay?